I knew I was through with football forever. Ooh-rah. Eventually, after a few nights, the cast I had on, it was on this arm, started to stink from pouring draft beers at Hess's. I would pour the beer and half the beer would go on my cast. I thrived socially as a local bartender, but I hated the smell of the rancid cast. So eventually, after having a few beers one night, I broke it off in front of the late night crowd, toasting to cheers from everybody, to hell with my wrist. Hoorah, no more fucking football. That was the end of my career on the gridiron, but I still was a fan, and the administration knew it. The big homecoming game was coming up between two fierce rivals. Pennsylvania State College had about 11 different schools, but Bloomsburg and Westchester were fierce rivals. The dean of men, Dean Hoke, was worried. We had a campus-wide defeatist attitude. There was no school spirit. He called me privately into his office one day, closed the door, and said, "Tommy, you can't play, but you can still help us win this game. We need you and your vets to stir up the troops on campus." Uh-oh. That order was given to the wrong Marine. I saluted, I winked, I smiled broadly, and said, "Aye, aye, sir," and off I went. Then after hearing him out about the defeatist attitude problem, he then slowly, and in a conspiratorial whisper, said, "And I don't want to hear your plans or the details, okay?" With an exaggerated wink. This was my kind of mission. I turned on and I left humming. What do I do? First, I went to the Vets Club we had organized on campus and asked for their help. It was unanimous. The Vets Club was the closest thing on campus to a fraternity. I had organized it to assert our rights as veterans. We had problems getting certain types of benefits. We vets all knew each other, and most were commuter students, what we call day students. Also, we were older, some had families, and were actually out working. I used them to contact the owners of all the local automobile dealers in the area, who agreed to lend us spanking new convertibles for the homecoming queens that we would recruit to ride in while passing in review by the reviewing stand during the evening parade on Friday night before the big game. We had collected 8 convertibles. We immediately recruited 8 of the most beautiful girls on campus to be the Veteran Club's queens. The school colors were maroon and gold, but we instructed our girls to wear the Vets colors, black and gold. Otherwise, the outfits were their choice, and more important, not one of them was allowed to tell anybody that they were recruited. Only tell them that they would be sitting alone, high up on the back of a brand new convertible with military escorts in formal uniform. The plan was to get them committed to our Vets Club quickly before the other clubs on campus started asking around for their homecoming queens. I think you could figure this out. The local Marine recruiter agreed to supply a proper American, state, and Marine Corps flags with the necessary equipment, along with formal permission to carry them in a parade, including 6 extra M1 Garand rifles from the VFW that were fitted to fire blanks. The vets were wearing all of us were wearing our ordinary old service uniforms. I borrowed a set of dress blues, and on Friday, we got a goat in heat, and it was stolen from a local farm. That's the basics of the plan. I kept Dean Hoke in the loop all week during our regular passings in the hallways. He assured me he was behind us, but wanted absolutely nothing to know about the details. Only very few insiders knew about the goat. I can still see this, and it makes me laugh. A few days to go, and the students weren't exactly motivated, so we had to get creative quickly. We had not won this Westchester contest for years. They were currently the small college football powerhouse, so beating them was a really big deal. Our initial effort was to inspire the campus club leaders to start competing with us and with each other for recruiting the Bloomsburg Queens. And we knew there were no more convertibles available in the entire central Pennsylvania area. We had a great advantage for winning the Beauty Queen award for the parade. However, what finally stirred the Bloom students' leaders into action was our creative contribution to winning the hearts and minds of the Bloom students. There were 4 of us Philly guys who hung out together. I already told you who they were. And one was in the Navy, and 3 of us were Marines. We were really bonded as brothers, very close personal friends, and we all lived together and were seen around campus together constantly, and boy, could we party. We closed Hess's bar late Wednesday night before the game. 3 of us were actually bartenders, and another guy helped just clean up along with the owner, Bill Hess. We were allowed to drink a 6-pack of beers while we worked and joked around with each other. The plot thickened as we laughed at one of Bill Hess's hilarious suggestions. With all 4 of us drunk as monks and howling with mirth, we drove in Chris's convertible with the top down throughout all the back roads in the county. We covered the surrounding farming community and stole as many road signs as could fit, along with the 4 of us, into Chris's old Jaguar convertible. We were laughing so hard and tripping over each other with a ton of giggles as we replanted them around 3 a.m. in the morning along a concrete path between the women's dorm called Waller Hall and the campus dining hall. We placed them about every 20 yards or so. And then we woke up some of the North Hall athlete buddies and we told them to spread the word at breakfast that the Westchester football team did it. Thursday morning, as the girls went back and forth along the path from the dorm to their chow hall classes all day long, and they constantly passed these roadside signs, boy, were they pissed off. The sign said, "Warning, cattle crossing 500 feet." It infuriated the women and triggered the entire macho attitude of their campus boyfriends for the next 2 days. Dean Hoke asked me in public if I knew anything about it while we were in the Husky Lounge late one Thursday afternoon, while our vets crew were all hovered around the tables, conspiring over coffee, plotting and planning. I shrugged and I winked. "Don't look at me, Dean. I have no idea." Ginty, who we all called each other by our last names, Ginty, still very hungover from the night before, stage whispered from behind me, "Did you tell him about the fucking goat?" We all snickered and laughed as we shushed him, and the dean glared, "What goat?" Now the pace was set for the other campus radicals to try to beat our stunts. Campus motivation was getting extremely high. The troops were smelling battle. Things were going to happen. The Friday night Bloomsburg State Teachers College Homecoming Parade was a premier joint college-town social event every year. The entire town, including public officials, turned out to watch these college kids show off in their floats, all handmade, music, all self-made, and parade costumes, all done by us. The alumni were arriving, and they were all hanging out at Hess's Little Red Schoolhouse and hanging around the property on the college, all wondering what's going on and where was the party going to start. We instructed all the vets to collect our queens personally and to assemble them at the local VFW parking lot, and all to be on time so we could pin on them massive golden chrysanthemums with black ribbons. And further, we could assign them and their military escorts to an order of procession in the convertibles. Then we climbed into the cars and proceeded together to the Bloom Parade Assembly area in a massive parking lot up on the top of the hill behind the gym, way up high. The theory was to come down the hill, make it around through the town, and come back up the hill. As the rendezvous in the VFW parking lot, the vets queens were really pissed off when they realized there were 8 of them. But it was too late for them to complain or do anything about it. So after some choice words, we started rolling along toward the college assembly staging area. They succumbed to our prompting and smiled and went along with the waving at the people on the sides of the roads as we passed all the side streets. Well, I want to tell you something. God, they were really pissed off. Old service uniforms with medals were abounding. Flags were flying in the evening breeze. Rifles and swords were gleaming in the sunset. We were locked and cocked. We were at the ready. At the VFW, they served drinks. What can I say? It was a long way to the VFW parking lot, and the bar was open. All we could do while organizing the lineup was snicker and laugh, and that pissed the girls off even further. Anyway, our cortege arrived at the front of the parade ground assembly as planned, because we were last to arrive. I was in the very front of the parade, as assigned by the parade master, with the military color guard, including M1s, and we were all decked out in our dress blues. The color guard was all spit polished and ready for leading the parade. Everyone was totally serious about this. I mean, I'm telling you, there was no plan, no instinct, no nothing going on. But I looked around, I saw all the girls smiling, I saw them all waving from their convertibles, and I saw all the sundry members of the vets, all the characters I knew, all lined up perfectly behind the band, and our troops were ready to march. And I swear to you, I swear to you, to this very day, I just couldn't resist, and I could not stop myself. I summoned my deep, gravelly, graspy drill instructor voice, and I yelled, up, red, up, page, huh, post, colors, huh, right shoulder, huh, forward, huh. Now you don't have to say anything to the Marines after that because they're ready to go. All smiled as the color guard and the band smartly snapped to attention. The band was directly behind us, all tuned up. The drums began to roll. The drums began, and off we went. Get left, right, left. The homecoming parade began the long march down the hill toward the town. The parade master, oh my God, stop them! Oh my God, stop them! They're stealing the parade, she screamed. Too late, the march was on. Everybody in the parade, already in line, followed immediately. I intentionally took a wrong turn from the organized route planned at the bottom of the hill so that we could march past the entire homecoming parade, right past the Little Red Schoolhouse Tavern, to the cheers, hoots, and hollers of the entire bar full of alumni and vets, all waving and laughing at us as we passed in review. I actually have a picture of that exact moment. Later that night, while closing up and cleaning the bar, we all howled at the stories of each other's antics during the week. We were so drunk and we were so bad.